The notion that scientists and mainstream media are lying to us about climate change has become a popular conspiracy theory in recent years. While it's understandable to have questions and skepticism about complex issues, it's essential to examine the motivations and evidence behind this claim. In reality, the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that human-induced climate change is real, and the evidence is backed by decades of research and data. One of the primary reasons for the misconception that scientists and media are lying about climate change is the influence of special interest groups and lobbying efforts. Fossil fuel companies and other industries that stand to lose from a transition to renewable energy have a significant stake in casting doubt on the science of climate change. These groups have been known to fund fake research, lobby politicians, and spread disinformation to confuse the public and delay action on climate change. For instance, ExxonMobil was found to have been aware of the risks of climate change as early as the 1970s, but instead of taking action, the company chose to fund climate denial campaigns and lobby against climate regulations. Mainstream media also play a role in perpetuating the myth that scientists are lying about climate change. In an effort to provide balanced reporting, journalists often give equal weight to both sides of the debate, even when one side is backed by overwhelming scientific evidence and the other is not. This can create a false equivalency, making it seem like the science is still uncertain or that there is a legitimate debate among experts. In reality, the debate is not about whether climate change is real, but about the best ways to address it. Another factor contributing to the spread of misinformation about climate change is the complexity of the issue itself. Climate science is a multifaceted and nuanced field, and it can be difficult for non-experts to understand the intricacies of climate modeling, paleoclimatology, and other related disciplines. This complexity can be exploited by those seeking to cast doubt on the science, making it seem like the issue is more uncertain than it actually is. Furthermore, the slow and incremental nature of climate change can make it difficult for people to perceive the urgency of the problem, leading some to downplay or dismiss the issue altogether. Despite these challenges, the evidence for human-induced climate change is clear and overwhelming. Rising global temperatures, melting glaciers, and shifting weather patterns are just a few of the many indicators that climate change is real and happening now. The scientific consensus on climate change is also clear, with over 97% of climate scientists agreeing that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels, are the primary cause of the problem. In conclusion, the idea that scientists and mainstream media are lying to us about climate change is a myth with no basis in fact. While special interest groups and lobbying efforts have contributed to the spread of misinformation, the evidence for human-induced climate change is clear and overwhelming. The media's tendency to provide balanced reporting, even when one side is not backed by evidence, can also perpetuate the myth that the science is uncertain. However, the reality is that climate change is one of the most well-studied and well-documented issues in science, and the consensus among experts is clear. It's time to stop spreading misinformation and start taking action to address the climate crisis before it's too late. By transitioning to renewable energy, increasing energy efficiency, and protecting natural habitats, we can mitigate the worst effects of climate change and create a more sustainable future for all.